Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings, as we do have multiple warnings issued this week for some very unsettled and stormy conditions, especially through Thursday and Friday, where we are going to be seeing the remnants of Storm Ernesto. Now, we aren't going to be seeing these severe impacts that are associated with this current hurricane out across the North Atlantic, but we are going to see the remnants of that. So gusty winds, heavy rain for many areas, and as I said, we do have warnings issued for parts of Scotland. Then we'll have a look at the latest UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, again focusing on the stormier conditions we're going to be seeing this week, and then we'll finish up by having a look at the longer range, the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the ensembles, as there are tentative signs that things could improve for the final few days of August and for the start of September. There are runs now appearing showing high pressure with some warmth starting to grow. Now, that is as positive as it could mean there could be a bit of an extension to summer, and it does look very similar to what we saw last year, where we saw some quite big heat wave for the start of autumn. Could be seeing something similar this year. We'll have to wait and see, and we'll look at that in detail in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, to like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see the first area of low pressure is pushing in at the moment, mainly impacting northern and western areas, but it will slowly move southwards and eastwards over the coming hours, bringing some rain to all through the evening. Again, we're seeing some pretty heavy rain underneath this system, and we do have warnings issued for southern Scotland that we'll look at in a minute. And we are also seeing some gusty winds with this, but the main bulk of gusty winds will be Wednesday through to Friday with the remnants of Storm Ernesto. As said here, you can see Northern Ireland and Western Scotland, the main area for rain from this system and for the rest of the week, really. And you see lots of dark greens, yellows and oranges, indicating pretty torrential rain in places. Now, during this, around the middle of the afternoon, you can see, if you look at the temperatures, it is warm across the east, but really, if we ignore that quadrant, it is much more towards average or below average, especially where we have rain in the north and west, and that's going to be the recipe for the rest of the week. Now, if you look at the weather warnings, we've got this warning for southern Scotland today. It hasn't been updated since yesterday's video, so we won't look at it in too much detail, but again, 25 to 35 millimetres quite widely, expiring at midnight tonight. If you look at the warning for Wednesday and Thursday for the remnants of Ernesto, from 9 AM on Wednesday until 3 PM on Thursday, heavy rain and strong winds could lead to impacts from flooding. Now, we haven't seen an update in any of the details for this about rainfall totals, still looking at 75 to 100 millimetres across many areas, maybe as much as 150 millimetres, but we have seen an update in the area of this warning. Warning extended further south to include southwest Scotland, and eastern areas pulled back from central Scotland, end time brought forward by a few hours. So it does look like it is going to be a very lively system, this, as it does move in. Still little soul changes going on, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more updates to this warning over the next day or two, and of course I'll keep you updated on those, but we'll really only look in detail at those updates because we have looked at this quite a lot over the past few days. So do have a look at the latest UKV. You can see rainfall is moving in from the west throughout the rest of today, and that heavy rain does clear eastwards through this evening and giving a bit of rain for all. And then as we head into tomorrow, we do see again lots of heavy thundery showers spiraling around the centre of the low. Drier further south, it's actually not too bad of a day. But it's as we head into Wednesday, we start to see the remnants of Ernesto arriving, and you see as we head through the afternoon to the evening, heavy rain piling in for much of northern and western Scotland, and then continuing through much of Thursday, slowly clearing into Friday, where we see another very heavy spell of rain moving through. Bit of a hook developing in this low here. Again, that could be pretty severe. No warnings issued for Friday yet, but we wouldn't be surprised to see warnings issued from the looks of this precipitation chart. Eventually all clearing into the weekend, where we eventually see some higher pressure returning. So it is going stormy for a time, but only 3 or 4 days here, luckily, by the weekend. Into the start of next week, it will be a lot more positive. Now, if you have a look at those mean sea level pressure, you can see it is a flat westerly appearing over the coming days with much lower pressure and much tighter isobars. You can see that we will see little low pressure systems moving in. These centres will give heavier rain and will give those stronger winds, and you can see the most severe winds will be through Thursday and Friday. We can see a real tightening of the isobars there, and we'll have a look at those wind gusts in a second. But yeah, really quite significant lows moving through it, especially for this time of year. In sort of autumnal or winter time frame, we would say these are fairly deep areas of low pressure, but nothing spectacular. But for the middle of summer, these are fairly deep areas of low pressure. But you can see eventually it does clear, and you see the pressure is slowly rising from the south as we do start to see the low pressure probably moving away. Now, if you look at the wind gusts, you can see they are strong in places through the rest of today, but nothing too crazy. We're looking at maxes of 40 or 50 miles per hour. But as we head through Tuesday into Wednesday, winds start to pick up, looking more at 50, 60, maybe 65, even 70 appearing there for parts of northern England through the Irish Sea. So that could be pretty strong every Thursday morning, slowly clearing eastwards, and then that next low rise on Friday again could look at 50 or 60 miles per hour. So again, nothing out of this world, nothing like widespread 70 or 80 miles per hour, which we have seen over the past few years, especially in winter storms. But from this system, it's still going to be strong. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see a yellow warning for wind put into force, especially for that system Wednesday into Thursday, especially around those Irish Sea coast, because 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts at this time of year could be pretty impactful. If you have a look at the max temperatures now, you can see through this afternoon, best in the east, low to mid 20s, elsewhere more around the high teens. Into Tuesday, again warm in the far east, but for many under more cloud and showers, it will be cooler. And then as we head into Wednesday, with more widespread rain in the north and west, mid to low teens, maybe 21 or 22 at best in the east. Thursday, a similar story, and the same can be said for Friday. So you can see not a particularly warm week. Many areas are going to be stuck in the teens. First time in a while we've had maybe a full week for many when we're not seeing temperatures getting above 20 degrees. Again, it's just the sign of the times we are heading towards autumn, but also it is the cooler, fresher and stronger winds not allowing those temperatures to rise anywhere near as high as they have done recently. Now, if you go over to the latest GFS, you can see Ernesto there just on the left of the screen, exiting out of the North Atlantic. It is going to get picked up by the jet stream over the coming sort of 36 hours or so, and then head straight for the UK, and the remnants are going to cause those fairly stormy conditions through Wednesday through to Friday. You can see it stays fairly unsettled all the way into the weekend, for eventually through Sunday higher pressure starts to move in, and then it's as we head into the final period of August into early September when we could see high pressure starting to take control, maybe southerly winds, things turning much warmer, maybe even hotter, the risk of thunderstorms associated with this. It could be fairly energetic and summery to start September. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but positive signs at this stage. Do compare to the latest GEM, again westerly flow at the moment, lots of low pressure, deep low pressure moving in later this week. Eventually high pressure makes a return, and then again towards day 10 we start to see high pressure extending in. If we now compare to the ECMWF, broadly very similar, again westerly flow with fairly deep areas of low pressure moving through this week. Those eventually do subside into the weekend, and we do see some higher pressure, and again a very similar pattern towards the GFS there, as we're seeing on the ECMWF here at day 10, with extension of high pressure, southerly winds and generally warm air starting to waft our way. Of course, end of August, early September, we're starting to lose that heat to our south. It's starting to slowly run out, but still plenty of it available for decent conditions there. Heatwave perhaps, if this does come off for early September. Now, if you finish by having a look at the latest ensemble, you can see very up and down over the next 5 days. Pretty typical from a fairly stormy, unsettled pattern. Some precipitation, but not masses for London, as we are here furthest away from the main weather fronts. But there still could be some heavy rain, as said, stronger winds at times as well. As we though go towards the longer range, you can see definitely upward trend in those temperatures, and we do see a reduction in precipitation, giving a fairly strong signal that it could go warmer and drier. Not a guarantee, but definitely a strong signal at this stage. We'll have to wait and see. If you do compare to the ECMWF ensembles, broadly very similar, up and down over the next week. A bit more precipitation there as we head towards Thursday and Friday, and then towards the longer range. Precipitation still sort of moderate amounts, not as dry as the GFS, but definitely very warm upper air temperatures. So again, fairly similar in that regard. So again, that longer range period, we'll have to wait and see, but definitely tentative signs that something warmer and drier, and maybe even hotter, could be on the horizon to start meteorological autumn. For the time being, we're seeing a bit of autumn through this week with stormy conditions, mainly fueled by ex-hurricane Ernesto, but sort of getting lots of these smaller low pressure systems tangled up in the jet stream. It is going to give us some fairly windy and rainy weather, especially in those northern and western areas, and I'll keep you updated over the next couple of days. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.